June 11th, 2025. A date armies had etched into their hearts. The youngest member of BTS, Jungkook, finally completed his mandatory military service. After 18 long months of silence, speculation, and waiting, fans around the globe were ready to welcome him home. But no one was prepared for what actually happened. As early as 4 a.m., Seoul's Incheon International Airport saw an unusual surge in foot traffic. Flights from Japan, China, Thailand, the US, and even Brazil were flooded with fans, each holding banners, gifts, and teary eyes, hoping for just one glimpse of the global superstar. Korean news outlets began reporting the situation live, describing it not as a welcome, but a phenomenon. Then the chaos began. AS black vans pulled up near the VIP arrival gate. The screaming started. Fans rushed forward, security pushed back, and a wave of bodies surged toward the suspected arrival area. But Jungkook wasn't there. Not yet, a rumor started. Jungkook and Jimin, who were discharged from the same base, might be coming through a private entrance. That only made the frenzy worse. Some fans ran to parking garages. Others scaled small fences. And by 10 a.m., the airport's internal security declared a level 2 crowd alert. And then, a flash of movement. A figure, partially masked, wearing black and military boots, was seen slipping past gate 3 under heavy guard. Was it Jungkook? Footage taken by a fan showed someone who looked like him being hurried into a van. Behind him, Jimin. Both rushed, heads lowered, surrounded by at least 10 bodyguards. The crowd screamed. Some fans cried. Others simply froze. IT was over in 45 seconds. But the internet exploded it on Weverse and Twitter, now X. Fans immediately noticed something odd. Jungkook didn't wave. He didn't smile. He didn't even look at the fans. His hands were stuffed deep into his coat pockets. His shoulders hunched, and his pace was almost a jog. Some fans defended him. He's overwhelmed. He hasn't seen this many cameras in over a year. He needs time. Others were more worried. Something's not right with Jungkook. He looked scared. Was he crying? What was supposed to be a glorious homecoming now felt more like an escape. According to reports, Jungkook did not head to HYB HQ immediately. Instead, he was driven to a private residence in Yongsan, believed to be his own apartment. No media, no official photos, no press release. Hours later, at exactly 8 p.m. Korea Standard Time, Jungkook appeared on Weverse Live alongside Jimin. What fans saw stunned them. Gone was the tense, hurried man from earlier. Instead, Jungkook smiled, genuinely. His hair was slightly longer. His voice was deep, but warm. He thanked fans. He talked about the military. He laughed when Jimin teased him. But when asked about how he felt being back, his answer was soft. I missed you all more than you can imagine. But I'm still adjusting. A pause. A look into the camera. And then a whisper. Please wait a little longer. I'll be back. For real. The internet went silent, then exploded again. Despite HYB's silence on a concrete post-military schedule, fans are now watching Jungkook's every move. Will he release a comeback single? Will he reunite with BTS this year? Or will he continue to remain in the shadows, healing? No one knows for sure. But if one thing is clear from the scenes at the airport, it's this. Jungkook's return is not just a news story. It's a cultural event, a global moment, a storm that will only grow stronger. And for the fans who waited through every military photo, every countdown, and every silent night, this is just the beginning. In the hours following the Weverse Live broadcast, hashtags like #JungkookIsBack, #JKDischargeDay, and #WelcomeHomeJungkook dominated global trends. From Times Square to Tokyo Tower, fan projects celebrating his return lit up in lights, music, and emotion. But amid the celebration, a single question kept echoing in the minds of fans. Why did it feel like Jungkook was holding something back? Yes, he smiled. Yes, he thanked ARMY. But longtime followers noticed subtle details that others missed. The slightly delayed responses, the tight grip on his drink cup, the way his eyes drifted away when asked about what's next. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Because because Jungkook has always been transparent with his emotions. In every era, from Wings to Golden, he's poured his heart into both performance and confession. And now, standing at the edge of his return, his silence feels louder than ever. Multiple industry insiders have reported that HYB is preparing for something massive involving Jungkook and several other BTS members before the year ends. Confidential music studio sessions have allegedly resumed in Seoul, and insiders spotted a team of international producers arriving in Korea just 2 weeks ago, but no official confirmation has come from the agency.
No dice, no anunciament.
Not even a vague statement, just silence. Why? Is it because the company wants a surprise launch? Or is there internal conflict about how Jungkook's post-military image should be presented? And more importantly, does Jungkook even want to jump back into the spotlight right now? Let's not forget, Jungkook didn't just serve as any ordinary soldier, he was, and still is, arguably the most followed and talked about Korean male idol in the world. His military experience may have been physically and emotionally grueling, but what awaits him now could be even more complex. Fame, pressure, expectation, rebirth. He is no longer just the magne of BTS. He's a solo artist who broke streaming records with Seven, stunned audiences with Standing Next to You, and starred in a critically acclaimed Disney Plus documentary. His artistry has matured, his voice evolved, but what about his mind? His heart? Could this be why fans sensed hesitation at the airport? Could the weight of returning to be Jungkook, not just the man, but the myth, feel impossibly heavy? Another reason fans are anxious. This isn't just Jungkook's story. It's the beginning of the post-military era for BTS. With Jin already discharged, RM and Jungkook out, and Suga set to complete his service by June 21st, 2025. The landscape is changing fast. Whispers of a 7-member reunion in late 2025 have started gaining traction across Korean forums and international news. Yet at the same time, HYB is facing pressure from both investors and fans to focus on profitable solo ventures. Where does Jungkook stand in this tension? He has both the popularity and the power to go fully solo and succeed spectacularly. But does he want to? Or is his heart still tied to 7 shadows under one light? Only time will tell. Toward the end of his Weverse live, as the chat flooded with millions of real-time messages, Jungkook seemed to pause and reflect. He stared at the screen, eyes slightly moist, then said quietly, "I didn't think I would miss all of you this much. Being away made me realize this isn't just a career, it's a connection. I'm not ready to say what's next, but I promise, when I do, you'll feel it." A promise, a hint, a heartbeat, and that was it. He ended the live, and exact comeback date.
No spoiler.
No project name, just anticipation. And for ARMY, sometimes the silence says more than the sound. The more fans dissect Jungkook's expressions, words, and body language, the louder one question becomes: is there something HYB doesn't want us to know? In the weeks leading up to his discharge, rumors began to circulate on Korean forums and insider communities that Jungkook had requested creative independence for his next solo project. Allegedly, this led to delayed planning meetings, scrapped promotional drafts, and heated internal discussions within HYB's upper management. Although unconfirmed, these whispers gained weight when Jungkook abruptly unfollowed multiple accounts on social media in May and deleted several Instagram highlight reels from his solo era. Some fans believe this was an emotional cleansing, a symbolic reset. Others fear it's a quiet protest. One Korean music columnist wrote, "Jungkook is no longer the kid from 2013. He's a man who knows what he wants, and that might not align with HYB's 2025 revenue targets." Is Jungkook trying to break free? Or worse, is he being forced to choose between his heart and the brand that built him? Normally united, ARMY is now showing signs of emotional division. On X, the hashtags tell 2 very different stories. Hashtag Jungkook deserves freedom, hashtag OT7 or nothing, while many support his solo journey, believing he needs time and space to rediscover his voice. Others are impatient, longing for the BTS reunion they've waited nearly 2 years for. Some even speculate, What if Jungkook's hesitant return is because the group's comeback isn't what he expected? Could the internal BTS dynamic have changed? Could the absence have created creative rifts or new paths? This isn't conspiracy, it's desperation. ARMY has lived through hiatus, enlistment, and now uncertainty. Every small shift in energy, every delayed update becomes a possible clue. And Jungkook's silence feels like a thunderstorm waiting to burst, a controversial take that's gaining momentum across Korean TikTok and international fan YouTube channels is this. What if the chaos at the airport wasn't entirely unplanned? Some fans claim that HYB may have deliberately leaked the location and time of Jungkook and Jimin's discharge to the public. Why? To create an emotional wave of headlines that would dominate Korean media, distract from recent internal scandals, and kickstart hype for BTS's reemergence. If true, it worked. Every major Korean outlet covered the discharge as front-page news. Even Western media like Rolling Stone, Billboard, and CNN Entertainment picked it up. But what did it cost? Jungkook's privacy. His peace. His first breath of freedom in 18 months turned into a global circus. If this was orchestrated, what else is being hidden behind the smiles and silence?